And we're back from the break. This is Handelsdagarna's very own late night talk show, your stream of light in the February darkness. My name is Filip Rask and I'm your host this evening. We are joined by a new guest in the studio. Welcome to the CEO of Systembolaget, Magdalena Gerger.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm fine. I know it's a pandemic and everything, but I'm enjoying the snow that we have in Stockholm, and business is going okay.
Great to hear. And you're calling in from Stockholm right now?
I am.
Yeah. Is that where your head office is located, or is it somewhere else?
No, it is in Stockholm. However, we are really a truly Swedish company with 500 stores all over Sweden. So we're represented in every single area of Sweden. So I'm out and about a fair bit.
Yeah, I heard that there are more Systembolaget than McDonald's in Sweden. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, fun fact.
No, that's quite correct. And the spread is really all over. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. We always have a sort of, we know what's going on in all of Sweden, not just in Stockholm or the big regions.
That's great. And Magdalena, you are CEO of the company that basically all Swedes have an opinion about. Any comment on that?
Yes, I enjoy it. I think to enjoy this work, you have to enjoy having lots of opinions. Luckily, these days, we've reached a position where we have the highest customer satisfaction in Sweden of all companies, and the highest trust, and very, very satisfied coworkers. So those opinions may have been mixed in the past, and right now we're enjoying all that positive vibe.
Yeah, sounds lovely. And just real quickly, to get this straight, can you give us your take on why Systembolaget should have a monopoly on selling alcohol? It's quite unique from an international point of view.
It is in a way, and I'd like to start by saying we are a truly purpose-driven business, and we always have been, because the reason why both society and the state wants us to have the sole rights to selling alcohol is that we have that purpose of making Sweden a little bit better by decreasing harm in society. And the good news is Sweden is best in class. If you compare to Europe, for example, we reached those goals better than anybody else. Less harm, less drinking, and yet we have a population that are overwhelmingly satisfied with the quality and the service. So, you can have it all, I guess.
Yeah, the service numbers is fantastic indeed. And for several years, Systembolaget has been number one in several surveys, I know. So congrats to that. Magdalena, you have an international background in retail. Is retail something you knew you wanted to work with from the beginning when you started studying, or perhaps even before you started studying?
Actually not. I was one of those people who, I really enjoyed going to Stockholm School of Economics. I was exploring my career as I went along. And the truth is also that I started off in industry. So I've done half my career in industry at companies like Nestlé, like Procter & Gamble, and that half was also international. As you mentioned, I worked out of Canada a little bit, but mainly the UK and the rest of Europe. And after that, I then sort of joined the retail area. And what industry that I worked in and retail have in common is being very close to the market, always having your finger on the pulse and being on the next step, because these are fast moving areas with customers and consumers who are always moving ahead. As you know, just look now with the pandemic, we're changing behaviors and demands all along. So I guess I like that vibe, always being on the move.
Sounds really interesting, and yeah, as you say, I can imagine how important it is to be on top of things and to have a good overview of the market. As you said, you are an alumni of the Stockholm School of Economics, and we are very proud of that, of course. Was there a lot of partying in the Rotunda when you were studying at Handels? And is that in some way attributed to your current position?
Well, of course, I think my whole base and interest that I then moved along with in my career really started. I didn't have any of it before I joined and went to Handels. And a tip, an idea I have for everyone who's studying as well is around networking, because expanding and having a great network on top of having great academic base also helped me get into board work, I have to say. So I forgot to mention, over and above my role, I'm also since many years a board member of Investor. I spent 10 years with Ingvar Kamprad and IKEA on the board. So yeah, academics is a great base, but you know, meeting people and learning about other things as well is something that Handels can offer.
Yeah, without a doubt, and yeah, Handels has indeed a fantastic alumni network. That's sort of the key thing with Handels, I would say, the fantastic network, not only the good education, but the network as well. You have a lot of other assignments outside of Systembolaget, as you mentioned. You are on the board for Investor. I read on your LinkedIn that you're also involved in an advisory board to the Volkswagen management team, if I'm right.
Yes.
And is it difficult to combine all these roles at Systembolaget, the CEO role and all the other roles?
I think the key for me has been to never take on more than I can chew off, if you like, and making sure it's all complementary and that everyone is in agreement. So, for example, I discussed with both our owners and my board and the other board positions of taking on this assignment as an advisor of the group CEO and president of Volkswagen Group. And they agreed that me working on such a big industry and a transformation like almost nothing else on sustainability council and sustainability issues was also helpful to these other businesses. So that's how I think. I have to give a lot, but I also get something back. And if that could be some kind of ecosystem, also where I don't take on more than I can actually handle with my time. But no doubt, when it's intense, like this pandemic, you know, I feel I paid a price also. There weren't a lot of holidays and free weekends this particular year, but, you know, I'm getting so much energy out of these great assignments.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear. You mentioned network and the importance of creating value to your co-workers. And perhaps this is why you were granted the Honorable Leadership Prize, Årets Ruterdam, in 2009. I would like to know, what do you think are a good leader?
I think for me, it starts by my view actually on human values. I believe basically everybody can contribute and want to contribute if they're given the right you know, circumstances and good leadership. So that's really what I put into system, if you like. However, it is key that you rally around a purpose and a vision that you have together, and that you are pretty good at putting your finger on what customers and people around you value about your business. So you have a really crisp view on where you're at, so you don't fall asleep at the wheel, if you like. And then with great leadership, if you let people take more and more responsibility, you delegate properly. That's how we've been able to excel and excel. And I have to say, we have a true quadruple bottom line. You've heard that expression with the balanced scorecard: purpose, people, planet, profit. And each of those parts of the quadruple bottom line have every year improved, way beyond every imagination we had 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And it's only been possible by having 6,000 employees who every day wake up and say, I want to do things slightly better today. I know where I'm heading. I have space. I'm motivated. Let's get at it again.
Sounds fantastic. Stay crisp, you say.
Yes.
I can imagine that some days you lack crisp and sometimes you are a little bit more crisp, if I can say it like that. And naturally, I can imagine that you sometimes are making mistakes as a leader. I asked this question to Jan-Olof Jacke, the guest before you, and he said that he faced some cultural differences, and that was a challenge for him, that he failed. Do you have any favorite failure of yours, something that you feel that you have learned from, or that in the long run has been good, or something that you have learned from?
I've learned from many failures, and I actually believe to keep on striving to be innovative and developing, you often hang close to the roadside. Sometimes you drive into the ditch. The important thing is not to drive into the same ditch and make the same mistake again. So I talk openly. I actually use my learning from bad examples and problems myself and share that with people so they feel open about their own shortcomings and mistakes, because my key driver is development and development of people and organizations. My favorite to mention here is, it's a few years in my career. I was heading up, I was, a boss of a department, and I spent all my time working on assignments, not spending enough time building good relationships and caring for the people side. And we got bought up by another big business. And overnight I realized I had nothing, because many of the little assignments didn't matter anymore because there was a new agenda, but all the people mattered. So that was a harsh learning, and I won't make that mistake ever again. Now I start with the people. We talked about network and so on. It's people values that create results and movement, not the other way around.
Yeah, I know, I understand that perhaps this was a turning point to prioritize people more than you did before. And I know today that you are very passionate about inspiring especially younger women to start a career in retail. And you act as a mentor for many younger women as well. Would you have a special piece of advice to women who want to pursue a successful career in retail?
Yes, I am passionate, and I've actually been a mentor to men as well, of course, but a special focus area on women and retail. The advice is obviously, over and above building your academic skills and your business skills, build leadership skills as well to really strengthen yourself and your personal leadership. It's my best advice. It took me a good 45 years of my life before I started to focus on myself and my personal, well-being and leadership, because leadership comes from within. It's not a hat you put on or a suit you dress yourself with. So that's my key advice. And then in these days, I would add skills around digital development, technical skills, ESG, around sustainability, are great skills to add to your core repertoire.
Yeah, and you mentioned the importance of people and leadership and personal development. Do you have any role model or sources of inspirations for your leadership and in your business life in general?
Many, many. Do we have a few hours for this? Or I'll quickly mention, I have to go back to my parents actually. They have really inspired me in always bettering myself a little bit better every day, and also being the best version of myself that I possibly can. So I've got that with me, and the respect for people and the humanity in the world, if you like. But other than that, I have to mention Ingvar Kamprad, to be part of his inner core team for 10 years and his close circle. Every time we met, I got a great learning that I'm actually using today. But also, take Investor and the Wallenbergs. They're on the 5th generation of, driving and building business Sweden. That's great. I learn every day.
Yeah, I listened to your summer talk, ditt sommarprat, as we say in Sweden, in P3, and you were picking chanterelles with
Yes.
with Mr. Kamprad. Is that true?
Yes, and also with the sons. Now, I was quite shocked. I've been to many recruitment interviews, and they told me I was their choice for the board member role, and they wanted to spend a day with me. And I thought, what are they going to be doing with me for a day? So as soon as I arrived, it happened to be also just pouring rain, and I had some kind of white summer pants, I remember. And they tossed me boots, a little basket, a knife to cut the mushrooms, and out we went. And I wasn't sure I was going to get the job, because when we came back in, I had the least mushrooms, but I had certainly talked the most.
Yeah, sounds fantastic, and quite a way to have an interview for a board position. Fantastic.
But can I say, it says a lot though, because in the end, they said, for example, and Ingvar said, imagine how many yes sayers I have around me. I'm looking for a wise person, someone with integrity, who stand on their 2 feet, who can take a storm, who are interested in really contributing and not much else. And, that's a great place to find out in the middle of the forest with my boots on what I'm made of, if you like. Maybe easier there than in a regular interview across the table.
Yeah, and it's totally agree with you. It says a lot about the culture. It doesn't need to be on top of a skyscraper on Wall Street, the interview.
In the Kamprad world, it's bad news to come driving to their house in anything but a Volvo.
Yes, absolutely. Magdalena, there are a lot of students watching today from the Stockholm School of Economics. Do you have any specific last tips to them in order to be successful? What type of environment would you have been looking for as a newly graduated Handels student today?
Well, I think the world is more exciting. So definitely look for an environment where you feel you can fit in, where you share the values and the drivers, ideally a purpose that gets you out of bed in the morning, and an environment where you can truly be as good as you can be. I would say as well, entrepreneurship and this technical development that goes on in the world, find environments where you can be at least close to that and part of that, because that's really where things are happening. We talked about sustainable business model and technique and digital development. That's where I would hang if I had the chance again.
Thank you, Magdalena. That was a fantastic way to round out this very nice interview. I think we are really proud to have you here. Best of luck with your job at Systembolaget and with all your other engagement. Thank you for being here.
Good luck to you. Great to be part of this.
Thanks.
Have fun.